Yeah, yeah. Innovation is automatic cause we create. We ain't got time for the hating cause we just motivate. Sitting back, chopping it up with my homeboys. Back to back, talking them facts till we on, boy. Yeah, and we bout our business. We gon' push the culture forward and y'all gon' witness. So relentless, if I said it, I meant it. We just be dropping assembly pod and please don't mix it.
Create, innovate, motivate, create, innovate, motivate, create, innovate, motivate, create.
Yeah, yo, what's good, guys? My name is Trez.
What's up? I'm Hayden.
Devin.
And we're Assembly Podcast. Man, today we hit on like the pride and ego in hip hop, and do you have to write all your music and produce your music and do everything in the song for you to get the credit you deserve?
Yeah, and we were kind of all over the place a little bit today.
Yeah.
I mean, we covered, people like Dr. Dre and
Kanye, Drake.
Yep, and even got into kind of towards the end a little bit of like Lauryn Hill controversy, and somehow we got into Lil Nas X in between there, and we're all around. we went a lot of different places today.
Yeah.
But anyway, let us know what y'all think, guys.
Have a great day.
It's just, I just feel like we're just in like this weird place, but there's something for everybody. I feel like there's so much hoopla around who writes what and who doesn't, and it's taken away from the enjoyment of enjoying an album or a song.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel
there's
that.
a lot of that, and then the whole debate of real rap versus the new age. I really don't.
I
I
hate
don't
that
like the
argument.
back and forth. I don't like it.
I hate it.
A good song is a good song. If for me, a good song is just something that feels good. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean it's produced the best. Doesn't mean it has the best lyrics, but it feels good to me. You know?
Yeah. Makes you feel something. Like,
Yeah.
makes you like, okay, like however that is. That could be the content. It could just be the feeling of the beat. It could be a lot of things, a combination of things, but it feels, like you said, it feels good.
It feels good, but people want to pinpoint, but they didn't write the lyrics.
Yeah.
See,
the thing is,
but so-and-so can produce, write, and dance. You know, like, it doesn't always have to be a comparison. Just enjoy what's being put out there.
I think, and that's the thing too, like, people get weird sometimes about that stuff when it's been going on. Like, I mean, literally since the birth of hip hop. I mean, look at Sugar Hill Gang. You know what I'm saying? Like, Grandmaster Caz was writing those bars. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't them. Like, even Sugar Hill Gang was literally put together by a label.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like all of that was not real. But if it wasn't for that, hip hop, like, arguably wouldn't even exist as a genre right now. So it's like, it's just always been this really interesting dichotomy that people want to say and go back to real whatever, when it's just like, if you look even at the origins of what this is and where we're at, you know what I'm saying? Like, this has always been a thing.
I 1000% agree with you.
This has been always been a thing.
These are just the facts.
But I don't know if people really, they care about it, but like, I feel like they only care about it when the person is like being a certain way. Cause like, we don't care that Dr. Dre didn't write. We don't care that Kanye doesn't write. That's right, we don't care. It's just like, when you're the person that's like talking all that big boy, like, yeah, I'm this and I'm that. But it's like, you don't write, bro. Like, you're not the greatest rapper, bro. You could be the greatest artist. Cause a rapper, if you're the greatest rapper, you are writing your raps. That's the conversation, like, to artist or rapper.
That's how I look at, like, to me, when people talk about, like, you know, going back to greatest of all time sort of thing, and that argument. But the thing is, for me, is like, when we talk about greatest rapper of all time versus greatest, like, hip hop artist of all time, to me, it's almost like those are two different. It's like, for me,
I agree,
when I think of rapper, like, when I'm thinking of, like, you know, Big Pun, Big L, like Nas, like, you know, Rakim, like people like that it's just like, you know, are gonna be really rapping, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, but when you talk about like hip hop artists or something like that, that's more than just about really the bars and about your ability as a rapper. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like it's beyond just the, you know, I mean, look at Jay-Z. It's like, I mean, lyrical skills wise, there's so many people that could, you know, run circles around him. But like, I mean, with everything that he's done with his career, it's like, I mean, hardly anyone's, arguably nobody.
He knows how to write a song.
Yes.
He does.
And that's the thing too, like, you going back to what you were saying about with song, like writing songs. And it's like, that's it. and that's I think why there's a lot of kind of even from like underground rap to like mainstream stuff. It's like I feel like even a lot of underground rappers could find probably a lot more success in their career, in my personal opinion, if they just had more kind of well constructed songs with like hooks, you know, and things like that. That it's just like, you know, I'm not saying like, you know, you like what you like. If you want to make something that's just like gutter boom bap type of shit, like cool, you know what I'm saying? But like at the same time, you can do that, but still have like a good hook or like a good something. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a reason
pride too, man. Like in hip hop, like people don't want like they can write your hook, bro. Like you can write the verses. They can let somebody else write your hook, bro.
We talked about that, right? Collaboration. Did we touch on that last time?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's such an important thing. And I think that's why even nowadays like that's so important. And I think why you see a lot of the more successful artists and people. I mean, if you look at the credits on that, there's so many things just because it's like, you know, and I've found that too. It's just like when I work with the right group of people and stuff like that, it's like it brings out the best in me. And it's like, you know, it's almost like musically assembling like an Avengers type of team. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like some people, you know, have their things that they're really solid at, and you can bring those all together and get the best of all the worlds. And then that, you know, then you can get like the best, you know, overall product. I mean, I think we've seen that.
And Trez is super right. Like you're right about the whole pride things. You know, people want to be able to say that they wrote and produced everything themselves, but that's not always the best route. It's an okay route, but you know, you're not always going to get the best product you could have gotten or should have gotten, in my opinion. You know, everybody wants to be Prince, but everybody's not supposed to be Prince.
Exactly.
You know, everybody shouldn't play a million instruments and, you know, and just do everything under the sun. Just hone in on one thing on this album, then hone in on something else the other album. Not saying box yourself in or limit yourself, but be open to letting other people come in and add their creativity, talent, skills.
I feel like that's the thing kind of with Cole, you know. Like I'm a big Cole fan. I feel like a lot of times he wants to write it, produce it, and do all that. And it's like sometimes like when he's on somebody else, that's why his features last year were like so fire, because when he hops on something else, it's like he's free of everything and he can really just focus on writing and rapping. Like,
I mean, even like probably one of my favorite J. Cole songs is "Love Yours," and that's the only song on the album that he didn't produce. That was
"Love Yours" is a dope song. You know what I mean? Like,
that was Illmind, and that was super dope.
He's a good producer. It's not saying that he's not. It's just like
but
you gotta get out of the box.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've actually heard that argument quite a few times about Cole.
That's the thing. That's like the only thing I think that's keeping him, like, you know, he's at a high level, but like he could go. Like I said, I know he doesn't probably really care about that. So it also depends on the artist.
And it's tough. I mean, as somebody, you know, who is a producer and who writes and who does, you know, multiple things, ironically enough, I almost find it easier to write over somebody else's production that's not mine.
Yeah.
Like, because whenever I'm producing something and then I'm also having to write, it's like my brain will be listening to some of those things almost in producer mode, and it'll get me out of like writer mode, and I can't focus as much. And it's tough because I'm like, I'll be sitting there like trying to write, and then I'm just be like, damn, that snare sound is bothering the shit out of me. You know what I'm saying?
Fix that real quick.
Dude, when I'm recording and cutting vocals, I have to, and Connor has helped me so much because he's just like, don't do it.
Yeah. Shout outs to Connor.
I get in there behind the mic and I start rearranging the song as I'm singing it. I'm like, oh, let me change this word. Let me change that word. I'm going to, you know, do this and that. And I'm just like so in my head, you know, being in control of everything. I really do love singing things that other people have written and have like referenced out and all that kind of stuff. I don't get to do it often, but it's freeing, you know, because I can just focus on the vocal and nothing else.
For me, whenever I'm making a song or anything like that, it's like I look at it as like my kid. Like I want that, like as if it was my kid. I want it to have like the best chance of success, like in the world. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, you know, for it to be the best, the song for it to be the best that it can be. You know, sometimes it's not just, you know, it's not just me. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just me and my own ideas and brain. It's like, somebody else could have a really great idea that I'm just like, man, like, and it took it to the next level that I would never have gotten on my own. So,
and it's crazy to me how sensitive artists get about the whole having writers on their album and all that kind of stuff. When that topic comes around, given that, there's not as much money coming from that part of it anymore, like as far as, of course, record sales, but even the writing doesn't just produce that wealthy of a check all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In today's age, especially, it's just like, why are you so sensitive about that? It's not really affecting the bread. Right. The way you're making your money is by being a personality, by doing these appearances and, doing shows and whatnot. You can still do that while somebody else has written your hook.
Yeah.
It was really shocking to me this weekend to see Wolf Tyler and Megan Thee Stallion go back and forth because apparently Juicy J brought the hook to Megan for one of the songs. Mm-hmm. But Wolf Tyler said that she wrote the song, was reached out to by Juicy's manager for, getting her publishing credit and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But Juicy's saying that he just hired somebody to do a reference, and then he gave it to Megan. Megan's like, I write all my own stuff, this and that. You're making it seem like you wrote my whole song. And the girl never even said that. She just said, I'm happy to be a part. It just seemed like she was super sensitive about it. And it's just like, I'm really surprised by this right
women
now.
Are, because that's the thing. Like we hear women like, okay, some dude's writing that. Somebody's writing that. So I think women, when they come out, they're like, I don't want that to be the stigma for me. I don't want that to be the thing, like the black cow, like I didn't write myself. Like, so I get why it's like that, especially for women. But like, you're dope, like, and you've done freestyles, like we've seen it. So like, you don't have to proclaim it all the time and declare like
I get tired of it.
I get it. I mean,
because it makes you say, oh, maybe you didn't. Like, did you?
Yeah. I mean, and I get it. I mean, because again, that's been a thing too. Because like, I mean, I don't think as many people know this, but like Biggie wrote Queen Bitch for Lil' Kim. Yeah. Like there's literally a reference track that is Big doing the record.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, I get that's it's such an interesting double-edged sword, because on the one hand it can kind of like provide that stigma, kind of like what y'all were saying. But
we still know Kim can rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She don't have to deliver. She don't have to stand on a mountaintop and say, I write my raps. Like, she don't have to do it. We know you can rap. Like, just let it be.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think, to me, it's just what I always go back to, and I say this all the time, is I think just be real. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, where I think something like gets to the point with the writing credits and stuff like that I'm just like, man, is like whenever somebody's like acting like they wrote something when they really didn't. You know what I'm saying? Which, like, if you didn't, like, that's all right. Like, I'm not really gonna personally trip about it too bad. But like, if you're acting like you are and saying it and like talking a bunch of shit that you are, you know what I'm saying, and just like not being real. And that's the thing. It's like, again, we don't care that Puffy isn't writing any of those things. Like, we don't care that Dr. Dre ain't written none of that shit. Like,
we don't care because it's
like,
hot.
Yeah, exactly.
When these artists like, I write all my own lyrics. Okay, but was it hot? Like, it wasn't hot, so I don't even care, because like, it's like, oh, I created all my own trash. Like,
I took out my own trash.
Congrats. Like, we don't want it.
This is trash, but it's mine.
But that's the conversation about Drake. Like, I feel like people try to show, like, put the dim light on him, but dude, he's written for like multiple artists. Like big hits, big songs, and his own stuff. So of course he's gonna take records because he's that big. He's a machine. So people are constantly trying to get him records. He's a pop star. They're gonna take records. So people trying to say, "Oh, he didn't write that." Heard this reference. Like, come on, bro.
He's trying to get the best stuff.
Yes,
you know, like, period.
At that level, you have to stay at that level.
Kanye, Travis, you know, all those. I respect it.
Yeah,
make something good. You know.
Yeah, and the thing is a lot of times even artists like that will co-write, because like there was I I know I was working with one of my good friends who's a songwriter, and he had the opportunity to pitch a track to Post Malone, and I heard the track. It was super fire and something that I could easily hear being a Post Malone song.
Mm-hmm.
But their team came back and there's like, he only he doesn't like stuff like written just for him. Like he likes to co-write with people and like bring other people, into the writing. So it's kind of like, but he doesn't like something to just be straight up written for him. Right. But like there's a lot of opportunities with that. It's like a lot of times even artists on that level will have like they'll be in the room or they'll be in the writing process with other people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But they're still also not necessarily doing it 100% their own.
That's the best. That's what makes the best music. Like
yeah,
that's what TGT had a
Beyonce's
whole camp.
Beyonce.
And reaching out to underdogs or people who are up and coming or people that haven't been heard of yet, giving people a shot.
Love when they do that.
It's nothing like hearing something fresh that you haven't heard of before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's such a great feeling because just because you get the top producers in the game doesn't guarantee a great album. It gets burnt out really, really fast,
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing too. It's like, and that's the kind of interesting dichotomy about like coming up as like a writer, producer, or something like that, is that like on the one hand, it's tough because you're competing and going up against to a degree all the people that are on top, but also you're also in that running, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You're getting, in a lot of ways, just as much consideration as somebody else. Because at the end of the day, they don't care if I make a beat or Timbaland makes a beat. If it's going to be the best beat for that track, for what they're looking for that artist, like they're going to go with whoever made it. You know, they don't care. And that's the thing that it's like kind of interesting and kind of cool. And it's like, and that's how also too, it's like, I mean, you'll get some people obviously that it's like, who maybe be really popping and looking like, okay, yo, so-and-so is really hot right now. So we definitely got to get a track from him or so-and-so, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like, they're also not stupid, you know what I'm saying? Right. And they're, if somebody through whatever connection is like, yo, I've got this song, this is absolutely perfect for this artist, you got to hear it. And they do, boom. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, everybody has to start somewhere. And so, and that's the thing. It's like, and again, a lot of times it's just like through connections and through who you know and through, a lot of different things. I mean, literally the songwriting cut that I got with Kazette and that whole situation, it's like, I mean, it was my co-writer's manager got us an opportunity to write a song for an artist who, an EDM artist who, so my co-writer's manager met that person's manager and they got connected through that. They had a single song deal with this label and they really liked what we wrote and recorded for the top line for this song, even though they kind of decided they wanted to go a different direction. They're just like, yo, this is dope. What else you guys got? We pitched them a song by Morgan. Shout out to Morgan Bosman. Mm-hmm. And literally within like a couple hours, they called us back and they're just like, yo, we need this song. We love this. This would be perfect for our artist Kazette. Like, we need to get on the phone and blah, 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 blah. And, the rest like worked out and it was super dope. But that's the thing. Nice. It was just like such a weird random thing of events where it's like, I mean, this is they're affiliated with like, I want to say Universal, maybe. I might be getting that wrong. If I'm getting that wrong, I super apologize. But either way, it's like, but I mean, they're an affiliate of a major label. You know what I'm saying? So they have a lot of resources that they could tap into, for those things, for top lines, for whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, at the end of the day, they just really liked what we had and liked the song. And so, you know what I'm saying? And so I think that at the end of the day, a lot of it is, a lot of this industry really is like, getting connections and who you know, and because you've got to do that. You got to network. You got to, because like, if it wasn't for those connections that I had to make that like super roundabout way of that happening, that wouldn't have happened. But at the same time, on the flip side of that, like they picked my song because it was the best one and it fit best for what they were looking for.
Right.
Period. So it's like there's a certain degree of, if you have, you know, something that's dope and something that's hot, you know what I'm saying? Like that will, like, as long as you're getting out there and doing the other piece of networking and getting yourself out there, it's like that does, you know, go far and that does do something. But I think at the end of the day, like that's anybody who's, you know, working in any sort of, especially anything with like a label, or really if you, honestly, like anything, even on business wise, it's like you're looking for what's going to be the best record, you know what I'm saying? And what's going to help you get the furthest for you in your career and get you that song or that next hit or next whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, I think whether you wrote it, and again, that's the thing, like the casual listener, they don't care. They just like the song. They're just listening to the song. Like they're not sitting there thinking like, oh, you know what? I bet so-and-so wrote this, you know, shut off. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, like people aren't doing that unless it's R. Kelly.
Yeah, but some people aren't doing that either.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, what about
The children?
I guess, like, honestly though, what about
Choosing our future. Choosing
so we
well.
need to actually check on the children. After talking about what we talked about with school,
Oh, yeah.
we need to know what they're at.
We need to check
Yeah.
on the
I've
kids.
seen
I'm
a
really
they're
interested.
having silent
Our viewers aren't going to know what the hell we're talking
Yeah,
about.
but
We had a whole, just to fill our viewers in, we had a whole conversation about like,
Yeah, no, it's
what?
fine.
Man, they're important. We want them, we want,
They're important.
we're not just talking just cause. We want people to actually listen to us.
Yeah.
We ain't just sitting around for nothing.
All right, what was the question?
oh yeah, but like, what makes music, or like, do you think because music is so personal? Well, that's not even fair to say because composers, right? Like
Mhm.
people who write like for whatever film scores, anything.
Yeah.
They're not sitting there like, I can't wait to play all these instruments by myself, you know? Or like someone like when you cook dinner, you're not like, let me go out into the wild and like pick rosemary. Like you can just go to the grocery store and accept that you don't have the time, the talent, maybe even the resources to do everything by yourself.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's just kind of
okay.
like, why in some mediums is it acceptable to like collaborate? But for music, it's like we have to be this. Like, are people sensitive about their shit, like Erykah Badu, or are they like prideful, or like? I don't know,
Well,
like,
I mean, at the same time, I feel like it's like that in a lot of mediums. Like, I don't think you're gonna see a Patti LaBelle cookbook with Gladys holding her hand on the cover. Like,
This is my chicken recipe. Like, no.
that's the-
Patty and Gladys's chicken and waffle. Like, it's
but
not
no
gonna
one's be
happen.
like, but no one's gonna be like, wow, that spicy seasoning for that chicken would be good, but did you make those red peppers? It's like, or
That's
like, no
true.
one, like no one sees like Kim Kardashian on the red carpet and they're like, she looks so beautiful. It's like, okay, but did she do her makeup? Like no,
Right.
no, it doesn't take away from
Yeah.
the fact that you're a creator.
Well, but
That's a
they
good
might not
point.
say, well, but did she do her makeup? But they will say, but did she look at Beyonce from
Or,
3
yeah,
years
like, is that
ago?
her
and-
hair? Like,
you know, they will say something else. Now with cooking, it's just really funny that we're talking about cooking because that's like,
Thanksgiving.
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like Grandma didn't make all of Thanksgiving, but
Like I know I know you use peppers, but did they come from Chile?
yeah.
Like, you know, like
That's like if someone said that, you'd be like, sit down, like, you know? So just kind
Exactly.
of like if Meg Thee Stallion doesn't write every single thing, like how do you expect her to write and produce and be shown up and sleep and eat, pay her bills? Like it's unrealistic.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like who started that and why is that a thing?
Who started
Like,
that?
And it's actually, that's a really good and interesting point because like that's the same thing that people brought up about hip hoppers, like, oh, well, you know, you're not playing all those instruments or like for sampling and something like that.
Oh,
when it's just
yeah.
like, that's cool. James Brown literally had an entire resurgence of his career because of hip hop. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And like stuff like that
It's
to
all
where
about
it's
the
like,
ear, man.
Exactly,
Like, I had to
and
have
it's
the
like-
ear to do it.
okay, while maybe, yeah, I couldn't have played all of those instruments myself and whatever, I don't think you could have done what I did with that sample. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's
Exactly.
stuff like that. And that's why it's cool to work with different types of people and different things. Like I know my limits. Like even though I do play a lot of different instruments, I'm not super proficient in like a really technical expertise level
Mhm.
at pretty much damn near all of them, really.
Right.
Just being real. But like, that's why I know if there's something that is going to require something that's like outside of my skill set, I'll talk. Because even earlier, like when you and I were making that beat, and I'm just like, yo, this could use some really fire ass guitar, and literally hit up like 2 different people, just like, hey, yo, like, what are you doing right now? Are you able to come down, lay down some guitar? Because it's like, I know damn well.
You don't have a pride issue or an ego issue or like a money, like, oh, I gotta have all this money to myself. Like if the song blows, like we don't mind paying or giving somebody, but some people do. Like they want it all. Like I want this. I did this all by myself, and that I think is really, really heavy in hip hop. Like other genres is not as heavy, but I feel like
so many bands.
It's like God.
Yeah,
like you can't play it all.
Can't do it all, man.
Yeah, I just think
you can, but it might be trash. Before we wrap up, I did want to talk about. And this is just a random thing, but it kind of coincides with everything we're saying, like about, writing and how important it was. Yeah. So something that I was kind of hurt by, and maybe it speaks to me, like thinking the whole write your own stuff. Or maybe it was just more of a credit. Like I just thought, I didn't know this, like Lauryn Hill. Like I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know, and I don't know if you guys know, but I mean, basically, the record that we all love, I mean, she really just stole it, basically. And it made me feel like, because I looked at Lauryn in a certain light, and after I found that out, shout out to Robert Glasper. After I found that out, I was like, dang, like how did that affect how y'all saw her, or did y'all just say, well, she still had to deliver, like,
so
like
my impression of Lauryn was based off of her disappearing,
right?
Based on when she did come back, what those performances looked and sounded like.
That started it.
Her attendance,
taxes,
and then when she, came back again, and then what it looked and sounded like, and
it hurts.
It's a lot. It's a lot. All right, I'm just gonna go with the positive here. So, when they did that Nina Simone documentary, and they did Nina Simone Revisited, and they had artists like Jasmine Sullivan, Mary J. Blige, Usher, all on this album. Lauryn Hill did half, if not more, of the songs on there, and I thought she sounded great. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
It's great to see an artist touring again. We do have to give her credit for being so young when that album did come out.
Yeah.
True.
You know what I mean? And then prior to that, being in a huge movie and being a part of a huge hip hop group that has affected all of music. Anything negative that there is to say about Lauryn and what she's done, you can't take away the impact.
Right.
You just can't. Even with what Robert Glasper said, because we weren't there.
We wasn't there.
Yeah.
We really don't know, what part of what is what and who did what, yada yada, whatever.
And she was young, so she may did not know how it was going, the business side. But it still hit me. It didn't hit you? It had to hit her. It hit you.
For me, it was just funny. It didn't hit me.
Funny.
It was just very funny to me.
Dang.
Because I had already been looking at her like, dang, like, you're not showing up to the shows and musicians are saying that you're not paying them.
So you already lost the level of like admiration.
Okay, so let me say this. There are a lot of people within music and some who are not within music who really hold her in extreme high regard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was never one of those people. I liked her, but I never put her up here because she only had one album and an Unplugged. So I guess you could call it 2. Not including the Fugees records, stuff, you know what I mean? As a solo artist, she had the 2 albums. I can't do anything with that. And then people say, oh, she's my favorite singer, she's my favorite artist. That's hard for me to understand because her body of work is not that vast.
It's tough for me because Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is my favorite album of all time.
It's up there.
I love it. That was such I think, a defining record for me because it had such a consistent sound, but such a diversity of influences within that. And I mean, she's killing it, singing, rapping, I mean, all that. I mean, everything is just like on point. And it was definitely kind of, it was a little tough to hear that. But I mean, at this point, it's like kind of like what Dev was saying. I mean, it's like there have been so many things where it's hard for me to, you know, be like a Lauryn Hill like fanboy type of thing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I'm just like, yo, like all this other stuff, like, look, man, it really is, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's tough though, because like I'm never gonna not love that record. I can't imagine something topping that as far as my favorite. But and even so, I mean, I love it. I mean, it's every time I listen to it, it still hits me just as like powerfully.
So we must separate. This means we must somehow be separating the music from the actual person, because in that situation you are like you're saying
tough. It's a little bit.
The thing is, we don't have receipts. Like we don't
you got a long line of people and no one's denying and everyone's saying the same thing. I mean, at some point you got to be like, okay, no one's lying.
Because she got in a really lengthy, really big lawsuit,
right?
From all of that,
and
I mean it. You know it. I mean, I think they settled out of court, for what I remember reading about it. And I mean, yeah, kind of like Dad was saying, I mean, it's like there's no real way for us to know who did what. And, you know, especially since I don't think there were proper contract sign or documents in place to document those things. And that's kind of a good lesson also, to where it's like, I mean, if you're just get your paperwork in order, just like for real, like don't mess around with that shit. Cause like, you know what I'm saying? Cause it's like literally if just some simple paperwork had been signed at the end of any of those sessions, literally all this could have been avoided.
Yep.
And
cause you never know what's gonna pop.
Exactly.
You never know what's gonna happen, so you got to make sure you like treat every song, everything like it's going.
And that's the thing, man. It's like, and you got to be careful because people will be trying to take advantage of you with that stuff. Because like, I mean, that's how. I mean, even that's why you see so many like early hip hop like pioneers that are like so jaded and so negative, and they don't have shit because like they got signed to terrible deals and they didn't get paid shit. Like Grandmaster Caz, I don't think, I could be wrong, but I still don't think he's gotten any royalties or anything that he was really justly owed from even all the Sugar Hill records and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And just like, I mean, Curtis Blow got really screwed over with his, you know, man, it's like, it's sad. And because it's like, I think, you know, a lot of people know, hey, there's a lot of people that don't know how this industry works. They can come in, swoop in and take advantage. And I've had people try to do that to me, you know what I'm saying? And it's just kind of like, you know, it's like, nah, like, and that's why I'm really big about, you know, educating yourself about the business, and why I always try to, you know, again, I don't know everything. I only have a certain amount of experience, but I do like to share a lot of that experience and some things. So it's like, you know, anyone who out there is like listening or watching or whatever can learn, you know, and not have to maybe make some of the same mistakes that any of us have made or that have been made by others in the past.
Please learn from other people's mistakes as
all means,
often as you can, so that you don't burn yourself.
Yeah.
Do your homework. I might wind up just saying this every single episode we do this. Do your research and do your homework, no matter what that looks like. You know, whether it's the business or the art side of it, do your homework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
So yeah, I mean, that was great, guys.
Yeah.
Hope you guys like it. Let us know. I mean, does it matter if you're writing, if you're producing, like if you're doing everything, or do you think it's better to collaborate with other people? Let us know in the comments. Yeah. Until next time, create, innovate, motivate.
Motivate, create.